right, it's the 10-minute time limit podcast brought to you by FDS Podcast Network. It's Andy and Jamie as always. Jamie, how's it going?
I've been better. This was a really, really poor show to say the
Yeah.
least. I did not enjoy this in any way, but I'm going to enjoy talking about it very much. I'm excited about that.
AEW Dynamite, July 15th. Jamie and I watched it and we're kind of live chatting while we watched it last night. We're recording this the next day because we couldn't possibly try to record it immediately after the show. This was, as Jim Ross called multiple times, Fighter Fest 2, even though that's not what it was. It was, you said Fight for the Fallen is what it was supposed to be taglined. I don't believe a single person said that the entire night because Shivani wasn't there to remember to say it. And Jim Ross said Fighter Fest 2 like 50 times. And Jericho was out of his mind because he was covered in orange juice and he couldn't come up with it either. So.
And Excalibur he's not going to correct anybody.
No. He's just there to roll with the punches. All right. Well, anyways, as all of our contests is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, Jamie. Ding, ding.
All right. First match, we've got Cody Rhodes versus Sonny Kiss for the TNT Championship. And this was a sloppy as hell match where you don't know if Cody's turning heel or if he's the face or if he's in between or what's going on in this match. He's doing a lot of heel tactics. Even Arn Anderson is questioning what he's doing as he's going through the match.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was on purpose or if this was just Cody trying to get Sonny over a little more or what was happening.
I think that's what it was.
Terrible.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So Sonny looked great in all the high spots of the match, but Sonny looks clunky and terrible at the basics of wrestling, and it really showed just in the little things in this match. So that's my only comment in terms of the wrestling itself, and then the storytelling in the ring made absolutely no sense to me. Like you said, it's almost like they wanted to get Sonny Kiss over some more by pushing Cody over the edge to the point where he's going to break the rules to win, when he clearly doesn't need to. The finish showed he clearly didn't need to. The heat between him and Arn was forced and weird. Nothing made sense in that match whatsoever. You don't know who the babyface and the heel was. Neither one was. And yeah, that's all I can say.
And it was like the commentary wasn't even sure what was going on either. It was a very frustrating match to watch from every angle. The booking for that match was very poor, and that's going to be a steady throughout this whole card. Actually, the booking was interesting to say the least.
Worst Cody match I've seen in a long time, and nothing against Sonny Kiss. The storytelling and the whole booking of that match made no sense.
Right. Our second match was FTR versus the Lucha Brothers, and this one, it was okay. It wasn't what I expected. I expected a barn burner of a match. I expected they built this up to be a great, great battle, and it should have been. But it was not. It was crap for the most part, especially the ending was a brutal finish to this match. The pulling off the mask by FTR to get I got to protect my head, and I'm not going to kick out of this pin on Phoenix. Garbage. That's the same stuff they pulled in MLW. It's the same finish they've done 100 times already. We've seen it 1,000 times already. 100, 1,000, whatever number you want to pull. That's what we've seen already. Just terrible ending. Although there was a high point in this was that when they went to, after they had this conflict with Omega and the Young Bucks, and they dumped the beer over Omega's head, FTR did, because of the week before, and they told him to get a real brand of beer. And then the truck wouldn't turn over. The truck wouldn't start.
Yeah, they gave them the wrong keys, but they didn't actually had they played it off like they gave them the wrong keys, and then somebody showed up and dumped some stuff on them inside the windows or something because they couldn't go anywhere, that would have made sense. But you can tell the truck was supposed to start. They were supposed to back out and leave, and they couldn't get the truck started. It's such a sellout of a finish, in my opinion, to try to come up with an unclean finish. The go-to with the luchadors pull the mask off, and I'm very disappointed that they resorted to that. Halfway through the match, I pinged you and said, this isn't very good. Even the match that they put on, the story they told in the ring, right up until the finish, which was stupid, really was clunky and not very good. And I did not like this match at all either. Not even and I actually I blame FTR a little bit. Like, everybody says FTR can do no wrong, so the only way they'd have a bad match is if they were in the ring with a bad team that they couldn't do anything with. No, no, a
No, it
big part
wasn't
of
the
this was
case
on them.
this week. And this, again, I felt like they tried to further the story with the Young Bucks, but it doesn't go any further. They furthered something with Kenny Omega, if you
Yeah,
really want to get down to that.
man, Kenny Omega
But
is all
he
over this
wasn't any
show.
part of this at any point. He's not part of that story. You're dragging Omega into something. I guess technically he's one of the tag champs, but you didn't when Page come out, which is question. And we'll talk about Omega later more. He does some weird things in his match too.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
That makes you question where his alignment is.
yeah.
Then we get a promo with Jericho, who is now the demo god because he is in the demographic that's leading the ratings, with as if ratings should matter on the actual show.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody is peeks behind the curtain quite as much as they'd like to believe when it comes to wrestling. Not everybody's like we are, wanting to know that stuff or interested in that stuff at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not even all that interested in that stuff. I like what I like, and that's about it.
If Jericho was cutting that promo as a response to Tony Khan's tweets last week and kind of poking fun at that, then I liked the promo. But I don't believe that's what he was doing, actually. I think he was told to mention that on TV, and then he turned it into funny Jericho however he possibly could.
Well, as funny as he could. Yeah, that's right. As funny as he possibly could. He was not on fire last night either. He wasn't firing on all guns as usual.
No.
So they tease the rematch of Cassidy. They tease the rematch of Cassidy. And do you want a rematch? Do you want a rematch? Well, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And of course, we know that rematch is going to happen. It has to happen, and it's going to happen. Cassidy comes out and does this half-hearted thumbs up, and then does the half-hearted thumbs down.
Yeah.
And from the sky, on top of the inner circle, we get gallons and gallons of orange juice.
Yeah, little cut pieces of oranges and stuff. And it felt like 35 seconds after the thumbs down. I had a feel like I think it was supposed to be timed perfectly with the thumbs down. That would have been cooler. But it took so long that Jericho had to start commenting on it to fill the air, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna give us a thumbs down? You're gonna give us just." Anyway, so that was that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. And then Jericho joins the announce team. Then we get a Jurassic Express promo where Marko Stunt, of all people, is making fun of the whole, how funny it was that Jericho and them got juice jumped over. The funniest thing he'd ever seen. And then
Luchasaurus steps in and
my
sets
absolute
him
favorite. I am such a huge Luchasaurus fan. I cannot stand this guy. This guy drives me crazy. And his promo didn't help here at all to explain that he's 65 million years old and that he's never seen such a thing in 65 million years, although it was pretty funny. And it's time now that after all of these years, he finally gets to face the Elite.
Yes, they get revenge on the Elite after millions of years.
Millions of years.
Yeah.
So they're going into their match with the Elite, and that's all that promo was. It didn't do anything.
No.
It did nothing for anyone, other than give Jericho some fuel to make fun of Marko Stunt at the broadcast table.
Well, it set up the next match too.
That's right. It set up the match
Jericho
for next
and
week.
Hager are going to fight. Lucha and.
So the Elite of Omega and the Young Bucks taking on Jurassic Express. Okay. Omega is selling like crazy for Marko Stunt. Now, Marko Stunt is 120 pounds. That is not me being exaggerating. That's not me being sarcastic. He's billed at 120 pounds. Omega is one half of the tag team champions. Is a former heavyweight champion in Mexico at AAA and the New Japan Professional Wrestling champion, as well as an AEW champion. And he's selling like crazy for this Marko Stunt garbage head scissor takedowns. And Marko Stunt, God bless him, he can go a little bit, but it's not believable. You don't buy into it in any way. There's no way that you would believe this.
Yeah. Then they had a big stupid heel turn type maneuver here and a bunch of heat at the end of it. And
you're questioning that. And then Luchasaurus didn't make this any better by doing the exact same moves he does in every single match, start to finish. You can paint by numbers with that guy. It's the same move set every single time. Tail whip kick, bridge back underneath a clothesline, They're going to go for the choke slam. They're going to get out of it, slide over. He's going to do another spin kick. It's just ridiculous with this man. Yes, he's a big guy that can do some moves, but he doesn't have to do little guy moves. If he did big guy moves, it would be far more impressive to watch him wrestle.
Yeah.
I might even believe that he could wrestle, and maybe even by he's 65 million years old, but I doubt that.
Yeah, and then again, so the match ends where the Young Bucks, like Kenny Omega, tries to continue beating up Marko Stunt or something, and the Young Bucks step in, go, "Whoa, dude, whoa, the match is over, the match is over." They spend way too much time on pulling them apart and trying to shine like the some heat on Omega. None of this made any sense. At this point, I was ready to turn it off.
Omega. Yeah, I was done with that. I mean, I messaged you, and I was very fired up about this at this point in time.
Yeah.
Omega, they show him sitting in the corner, basically talking to himself as to what he was going to do with this crazy kind of grin, smile look on his face. Again, questioning, is he a heel now? Is he a face? Is this another Cody angle? Is this going in, like, are you pulling the same stunt here?
I guess
if you're going to make him heel, do it.
There are no heels and there are no faces in AEW. Jim Cornette says that all the time, and they really just gave him more fuel, like you were saying earlier, for that concept. I understand when there's no fans, it's really hard to, really act as a heel and as a baby face. But yeah, they've thrown this out, and they've been doing this before there were no fans.
Yeah, this is not the first time they've done this, and I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy this at all.
All right,
I got no entertainment.
Well, we're already out of time, but we still got a bunch of steaming crap to talk about, so we'll power through this. Extended TV time here, I guess.
We got a Hikaru Shida promo. She basically says, "Let's have an open challenge for the women's title."
Great, that was fine. Yeah.
Moxley has a promo. He says he's going to rip Cage's bicep in half again, so that the paradigm shift. Might not even go for it. Not true. Then we get the Nightmare Sisters versus Kenzie Page and MJ Jenkins. This was as good as you'd think it would be. So it was had the shocking ending and a gross ending of the Nightmare Sisters winning. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. They're 4-0. Fantastic.
Yeah. Amazing tag team.
Nyla Rose comes out and reveals she's not going to say who her manager is.
Yeah.
Wonderful. She's going to let the manager speak for herself. And it's
Vicky.
Not my favorite. Vicky Guerrero. Ooh.
That was the
Maybe
highlight.
A good choice.
That was the highlight of the night for me, actually, having Vicky come out and and do her taglines and things like that and screech and yell, and it's good for her that she's able to get involved again. So you know what? That's the only praise I can really put on this show is that was fine. I'm glad it's Vicky.
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. That was fine. And then we get the main event. Moxley versus Cage. Probably the best match of the night, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. That doesn't say much. No. Because it wasn't that great. It was just okay at best. Yeah. These guys put on a brawl, showed some power moves by Cage. The ending came when Moxley had Cage in a
form of armbar or something. Yeah, and he was pulling.
Fujiwara armbar, I believe. And Taz has to throw in the towel because Cage won't tap.
Yeah. Okay. That's the manager throwing in the towel on behalf of the guy to set up heat between the manager and the wrestler. Fine. It's like they had to come up with something, and it's almost like they Googled finishes, unclean finishes, and they came up with this idea. And because Cage has probably the top manager in the AEW, let's go with that. Whatever. And
Taz carries the towel anyway, so that it kind of made it. It includes that, and it continues. There was a little bit.
And it was a red towel, by the way. Usually, it's a white towel when you're.
It's orange. It should have been orange. It should have been orange. It was red. I thought it was red too. I thought it was just my TV, but all right, it was red.
I think so.
And then Darby Allin, the lights go out. Darby Allin makes his return and attacks Cage after the bell.
Yeah.
With a skateboard. Cool move off the top rope. Hit him in the throat with the skateboard as he dove at him on top of it. I don't know if I could have done that. I thought it was impressive, but
Yeah.
That was my highlight. Just Darby Allin back. I love Darby Allin.
Okay.
But that's not saying much for this card. This was not even as good as Dark was this week.
No, no, it definitely wasn't. I don't like. So I'm just confused by what everything that this show set up. I understand that like Jericho and Hager are gonna fight against the or the Jurassic Express, and that was set up. So something came out of this. The main event real quickly. So Darby Allin had some heat with Brian Cage in the past. Cage is apparently the one that put Darby Allin out. We've got Moxley being tapped out on behalf of by Taz more or less. Where is this going? So is Cage's feud now going to shift to be with Darby Allin for this made up championship that they introduced themselves? Or are they going to continue to go after the heavyweight title? And if they're not, who's Moxley going to feud with? I need the belt off of Moxley because I am so bored. I don't know what they set up. Nothing in this show set up anything that makes any sense to me. None of the storytelling made any sense. I don't know what's next.
We could have rebooked this whole thing and taken each ending and done it differently. And if we did, it would be another 15-minute show. But I was hoping that Jericho's announcement would be he was going after Moxley this time, and instead of going after continuing the feud with Cassidy. I thought they were done with that for now and could come back and revisit it anytime.
I'm glad they're going to continue that. I am, but somebody has to go after Moxley. That's not Cage. If Cage's attention is now going to shift to Darby Allin, but if what they're setting up, is a epic tag team showdown, Cage and Taz, or somebody else that's aligning themselves with Taz, like Ricky Starks we saw in Dark,
That's great.
against Darby Allin and Moxley. If that's what they're setting up with nothing on the line, just a tag team, I don't care. So don't do it. Don't waste your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So. This was not their best performances all in all. Wasn't booked great, wasn't performed great, and it was just a disappointing show all around for what should have been a very good card.
Yeah. Now that I said that out loud, that's my prediction. You're going to see we got similar sizes and similar styles between the two. We're going to see Moxley and Darby Allin versus Cage and Ricky Starks, and it's going to be billed as this huge showdown. There you have my prediction. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I got to go. I got to go.